Okay, let's make this May desk calendar. The first thing you're going to need is a 6" by 12" piece of white or cream cardstock. And you want this to be fairly heavy, and just score it right down the middle at 6 and then score it again at 3. So 6 by 12, scored at 3 and 6. And this is our easel card base. First we're going to fold it here and burnish, and then we're going to fold it at that 3" mark and burnish. And now you can see we've got our basic 6 by 6 easel card. Super easy. So then go to the inside of the card and adhere a 6 by 6" piece of the pink micro dot pattern from the back side of the sentiment sheet, and that's going to go right on the bottom. Stay below that fold. Okay, then the next thing you need is a 6 by 6.5" sheet of the bright pink colored cardstock, and you're going to score this so it's 6 inches this way, 6.5 this way. You're going to score it 1/2 inch on the left, the top, and the bottom. Cut out those corners just like we do every time to make a side pocket. And this is going to be centered right over that polka dot pattern. So now we're going to make our little interior pocket. And for this, we've cut a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 piece of the floral pattern, and then we're going to score it at the bottom 2 inches to make this little pocket. Then I took 2 1" wide scraps, folded them in half, and we're going to make little gussets for our pockets. And you want to adhere these below the score line so that the folded edge is on the outer edge. And I know these are too long, but it's a very simple thing to just trim the tops off. I just didn't take the time to measure these precisely. We've got those where we want them to be. Now we're just going to come in and trim off this excess. You're going to add adhesive to the inside of your gusset like this, fold it up, and there's your pocket. And this just allows us to fit a lot more goodness into that pocket. So now we need our glue, which I have lost. There it is. And we're just going to put our adhesive on the back side, and you can use score tape, you can use whatever, you can use a tape runner, you can use whatever you like. We're going to center this on that hot pink panel, just like that. And there's our pocket. Now for up here, I've taken the calendar and I just trimmed it just the tiniest little bit. I kept the title in place, cut right along the line below that. And the handy thing is this happens to be 6 inches wide, so it's going to fit perfectly. So line this up, glue that down, and then you may or may not have to trim just the tiniest little bit off the bottom part. I think mine fit perfectly, but if you need to like shave off a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, just to make sure that you clear that fold, that's a very simple thing to do. So there's that. Then I took this image. I want this ledger page from the back side to live in this pocket. And remember, sometimes with these pockets, you have to take your bone folder and go in and just encourage them to open, because we've creased those down so they can be sometimes a little tight and a little cranky. So that goes in there, and this cute Mother's Day image goes in there. And now we're going to make our little folios. And here's the one that I pre-made. These are, well, I'll tell you the truth about how I make these. I trim out the image. I mat it on pink cardstock, then I just cut around it, guys. I just cut around it. If you want measurements because it makes you nervous not to have them, the pink layer is 4 1/8 by 3 1/8, and then this is 12 inches long by 3 3/8 inches long. But how I do it is this: I just cut the image, I mat it on the pink, and then I take my long 12-inch strip and I adhere this on the right hand side, and I center it top, bottom, and right. Then I put it on my scoring tool and I just score and fold. Really easy. So there's that little pocket filled with stamps and cut aparts, and that lives in here. So I'll show you how, here I've done it again, but I'm gonna show you how I score this. Rather than measuring, which sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying measuring is not important, but do you see how I'm just kind of lining that up? And there's the score. And fold, and then just place this back on your scoring tool and score and fold. And it's just quick and easy, and you're not trying to deal with 1/8 of an inch and 1/16 of an inch and making yourself crazy. I mean, just keep it as easy as you possibly can. And then on the inside of this one, just to dress it up, I've got this sweet little bird image to go with the bird silhouette that's on the cover. And of course you use the images that you like. I'm just showing you how I did it. Make sure I'm centered. The other reason I like to put these in here is that this is a lot of pattern, and this helps to break up the pattern. So I'm going to take this little Wherever Life Plants You. Make sure I'm doing this right. I want this to be a pocket, so I'm just adhering it on 3 sides. This is going to go on this short flap, just like that. And then inside, I've got the little sweet bird in the nest, some of these little cut apart words that tuck in there. And then on the inside, I'm going to take the word renew, and I'm just going to put a tiny bead of glue along the bottom, and I'm going to stick it right down here. And that way, if you want to tuck a photo or a journaling note or something like that, you still can. And flower bouquet, let's go ahead and stick that in there too. So that's our pocket inserts, 1, 2, 3, just like that. Now, the next thing we need to make is the insert for this pocket. So you want your May image with the nest, mat this on a little piece of the gold paper. You will have, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. You need to use a die. Now I used Spellbinders Labels 18 because I have it in my stash. And I just die cut the back side of the image of the Mother's Day. You can see she went like this. Fold it in half, cut it in half. You'll have a little strip left over from that, and we're going to use that as a border. I set this aside. Bring all this stuff in. So this time I did a little bit different. I used the plain colored cardstock to make the base for my folio. I decided that I liked the way that looked better. And this is cut to measure, I remember it's 10 1/4 long, 10 1/2 long, 10 1/2 long by 5 1/4 inches high, and then scored at 5 1/4. So you're going to end up with a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 fold. Then take your floral paper, and I just cut it slightly smaller. Again, I just mark with a pencil, but if you want to measure, you go right ahead. This is 5 by 5. And I'm going to use the floral pattern because we've got plaid on the image, and it's just kind of nice to change it up. So this goes here. Then these 2 little border pieces, this is left over from die cutting. Oops, I got ahead of myself because I'm talking and working. Hold on. Lift this up. That's why I like liquid glue. So you're going to take 1/2 of this and just put glue along the edge. And you should have done this first. Just lay it underneath. Lay it on and then open and take the other half. I mean, this is how we've done it pretty much every time. So if you've been following along with these tutorials, you're probably ahead of the game. And you know, this is what we do. Then line it up, double check on the front to make sure you're lined up, and that looks good to me. Then press that down. Then on this side, inside, I'm going to put a little side pocket, and you just make that by putting glue on 3 sides, and this is going to go right in this corner. And then I have, somewhere I have a cute image. Yeah. Then I have this cute little girl, and she's just going to tuck right in there. And that's where she's going to live. So you can put a photo on the back, you can journal on the back, you can tuck other photos into this little pocket, whatever you want to do here. And then on the other side, we're going to put down a piece of the plaid. And this again measures 5 by 5. Or you can do floral. Let's do floral. Why not? Because we've got plaid on one side, let's do floral on the other. But you do you. And if you want to cut one of the other patterned papers up to go in here, you certainly can. That is fine with me. And of course you can put a photo on the back as well. So now back to our cover. We've got these 2 little pieces that we cut off after die cutting that. So I'm going to take one of these, but it's not wide enough. So here's a little sneaky trick. Put this down here. I cut it in half. Keep your cut edge on the inside. Use your ruler to line you up so that you're not crooked. And then glue the other side over on this edge. Like that. Now they're straight. Now you come in with your image. Glue that down. That looks good. And see, no one knows that you've got a big gaping hole there. Then I picked a pretty button and I decided to accent the gold. And I just want to adhere this on our pull tab. And then this whole thing is going to slide right into this pocket. Nice as you please. So the inside is complete. That does it. That's all we had to do there. So now we're going to come to the front. And of course the pocket serves as the break for our easel card. And I was just going to do a quick fussy cutting tutorial with you. This is too wide, right? So there's a couple of things you could do. You could just do fishtail banners on the end, but here's what I like to do. I like to loosely fussy cut around it. And the trick to successful fussy cutting is that you hold your scissors steady while you move the paper. So it's like the scissors are not moving, but the paper is moving. And I like to leave a border. Don't try to fussy cut too close because it's really hard to keep everything completely even. That whistle you just heard is the practice of the tornado siren, because I live in the South and this is tornado season, and they check that whistle the first Wednesday of every month to make sure that it works. And yay, it works, but there is no disaster. I'm not in any danger, therefore I'm going to keep fussy cutting. Nothing to worry about. So also, do you see how I kind of have my blade angled instead of like straight? I have my blade at an angle, and that also helps to create a cleaner cut as you fussy cut. So if you've struggled with fussy cutting, give this a try. The other thing I recommend, practice cutting things out of magazines. You'll get really good at it. Okay. I know that took a minute, but I wanted to just share that with you because a lot of you have asked me, did I use a scan and cut machine? No, I don't have one, sadly. I have my good old trusty scissors that I've had for years and years and years, and my hands, and that's how I do this. So I've got a little scrap of pink here, and this is going to fit nicely. And we're just going to put some adhesive on the back. Lay this down. And once again, I'm just going to loosely cut around it. Okay, there we go. So now I'm ready to add my dimensionals, or we could do, this is another one of my favorite tricks, and maybe we'll do it like this time. So I like to take hot glue. I've been wanting to show you how to do this. Hot glue here, hot glue here. You have to work a little bit quickly. You're going to place these ends down and actually bow them up. And just hold that in place for the glue to hold set. If you need to shift, you can do that, but that looks pretty good. And now we've created this really fun dimensional element here. So here we go. Now we're on to the next thing. This is the image we're going to use this month, and I trimmed this down to 5.5 inches. The width I kept the same. I'm going to put the floral on the front. This. Make sure we're straight. And then I'm going to put the plaid on the back. So this image, we're going to leave a little border of the pattern around it. And then cut out your tags and mat them on pink. On this one I've put a little dimensional because I want to stagger these. So I'm just going to do like this. And then I also used old-fashioned Fiskars shape scissors to do the stamps. These, and it's called stamp or postage or something creative like that. So we're going to put one of these at an angle like this, and the other one, I need another dimensional real quick. I had it, but in all this excitement it got lost, so I'll just grab, and I want this little bird to go right here. And then this, we want to layer back behind the picture, like right about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over and put some hot glue on the back because that will catch it really quickly so that I can position it where I want it, and I like that. And then I've also done the Live Life in Full Bloom, and I double matted this, and I have 2 layers of dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to line this up with the edge. I'm going to line the edge of this dimensional up with the edge of my image like this, and then this is going to get glued onto here, but you only put the glue on the bottom part. So to prevent myself from gluing this to the back, I come in about 1/4 inch and I add my adhesive there. Just like this. That's going to be plenty to hold that in place. And now I'm going to line this up. And ideally, I probably should have done this before I did that dimensional month title, because then I could have laid it flat, but I didn't. So it is what it is. But now you see, there we go. Very good. Now I have a bow. This is turquoise gingham, 5/8 inch from Really Reasonable Ribbon. And I'm going to put this, make sure I'm in frame here, up in the top corner. And then I have a little metallic string bow tied the same width, and I'm just going to separate these loops. And I'm going to wad up this paper towel and stick it under this so I can lay this down so you can actually see me, but I won't crush it. And this is going to go right up on top of this first bow, just to add a little extra shimmer. And you've got a few seconds to adjust your loops and tails, so go ahead and do that. I also have these sweet little pearl cabochons, and I want to add one of them right here. Actually, let's put this one, I just had a thought. Let's put this one up here. And that will dry pretty quickly, but I'm just going to let this lay flat. And I have a second bow that lives down in this corner. Just like this. And the companion string bow to go with that. So what we've done with these bows is we've effectively framed the calendar. So the eye, and we've created a triangle. Here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. And that helps the eye travel and see everything there is to see. So this ribbon, and this cabochon. And that's just a good design tip. All right, now I've got some really sweet little flowers I want to bring in, and I want to play with the yellows and blues that I think are so sweet together. I like this combination. These are Little Birdie Martine, and this is their vivid color palette, or they might call it boho, I'm not sure which, but I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this flower, and this is going to go right here to tie those two images together. Then I'm going to take a blue one at the bottom. Let me lay this down. A blue one to go right here. And then I'm going to take one of these itty bitty yellow rolled roses. This is hard to do on camera. So I want you to see, but I also don't want to burn myself, and put that there. And then I have these, this is Songs of the Sea, and I think I have a tiny one of these in there. There. Clean up my glue boogers here. All right, so that looks really good. I need to check for placement. All right. So now I want to bring in, these are Nancy boho vibes, and I want this beautiful hot pink blossom to go right here. And do you see how we're using our embellishments to tie all of the colors in this collection together. That one's going to go right there. And then this little blue one is going to go right here. Just like that. Make sure you're not, with the blue one, make sure you're not gluing onto something you shouldn't be. And the little rolled yellow one, I think I can squeeze in. Let me see. Yes. Ha! Did a Steve McQueen on me. All right, so right here. Right in this bottom corner right here. But I want to make sure I'm not getting any glue on that pocket beneath. So that works very, very well. And now we need to decide what goes up here. Do we want a bright yellow one? No, I don't think so. I think I just want one up there, and I'm going to use one of these really sweet ones. Actually, I think I want yellow up there. So let's see, what do we got? Let's take one of these rolled roses. Yes, perfect. Can you see? Right up here. I think I want to add I want to add these little guys down here, kind of like a border. But I need to make sure, yeah. So center it here. I always like to put the center one down first. And the one to the left. And then the one to the right. And that glue will dry clear, so it'll look great when it's done. But there you have it. That is the May calendar. Just in time for Mother's Day. You can alter yours, of course, any way that you see fit. But look how sweet that is going to be sitting on your desk. Love, love. So thank you for joining me, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design for Authentique Paper. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up so other people can find it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you along for the journey. Stay tuned. There will be a photo gallery so that you can study still shots of this that will help you even more as you create your own version. So have a good one, and I'm going to go get my craft on. Bye.